Welcome to all. Hope I'm audible. You can just post. There is a reaction box in the bottom. You can just tick. Just thumbs up. Thumbs up is there. The bottom you can see reactions. If it is audible, you can just place that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's interesting. I could instantly get a lot of approvals and concurrence already. Fine. Welcome to you all. Sir, Colonel, sir, can I start?
Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Welcome to all my colleague members in Indian Institution of Technical Arbitrators. It is always a privilege for me. It's not just a year or a couple of years connection what I have with IITArb. The second year of inceptions of IITArb, I have been associated, and this is the first opportunity to meet all of you via the virtual platform. Very, very interesting. Whatever the world is having a difficult time, we are in a difficult situation, but still IITArb wants to reach all the members in a virtual platform. The virtual platform, I think it's really a wonderful platform wherein earlier we were using with the banks. We have comfortably gone into the digitalized era, and now it is going to happen that all our arbitration meetings, at least IITArb in the sense arbitration meetings, the trainings, the arbitration hearings, all can enter into this virtual platform. This virtual platform has an abundant opportunity wherein literally we can share our views comfortably sitting in our place. Remotely, everything can happen. Even though it is somewhat computer savvy or mobile savvy or smartphone savvy, still we are comfortable. I'm very happy that I could see all my earlier senior friends who I've seen in Delhi and all other places. All are comfortably watching this meeting, even though all have been muted, because as is meeting as a first trial, how it's going to the virtual space is going to work. We wanted to express whatever the views we have, and so that you can just first listen, and then from the actual program from tomorrow, the first program what KFCRI is also joining hands with IITArb to facilitate with the COVID-19 situation. The speaker is going to start. Today we wanted to express to what extent this platform is an advantageous platform, how we can effectively use this platform so that this might be an alternative for our future programs. If the situation is going to continue, it will be another 6 months. We had to manage all our activities only through such virtual platform. And this is an eye-opener. I have to thank our president, Mr. Kaushal Narayan Agrawal. I'm happy to first time get this detailed information, because earlier we used to call him Mr. only Agrawal. Now I'm happy that Mr. Kaushal Narayan Agrawal, and this is my privilege to introduce from the perspective of this virtual platform. I hope all would enjoy with him his talks, motivating talks. I could remember, I think 4 or 5 years back, when I met him in Delhi in one event, I think Vigyan Bhavan. He was a very energetic person. He makes us all work, forget about the age, forget about the stress, forget about what's family issues are happening. We are here to deliver. We are here, the professionals, to share the knowledge, and we all have to enrich. I welcome President Sir, Mr. K.N. Agarwal, for this virtual platform. And I also, at this point of time, I wanted to just thank, even though Mr. Shivaraman, because of his personal issue, he couldn't join, Mr. Shivaprakasam, Mr. Sheshadri, and Colonel Nalathambi, who are forcing me to take, along with our president, to take this virtual platform. With this few words, even though I have exceeded the time, I'll request Mr. K.N. Agrawal to share his welcome address, as well as the president's speech and the activities going to follow from now onwards.
Thank you, Mr. Indiavajan. Thank you very much. First of all, I must thank Mr. Indiavajan for coming up and agreeing to take up this important subject. Actually, I was particular about it. I wanted our members to learn something about the virtual meetings and seminars. See, because of this pandemic, we have been somehow restrained to our houses, and somehow the fear that the aged people are more vulnerable. A lot of us are now remaining indoors, perforce because of the government orders and also because of some fear. But anyway, this pandemic has brought about certain thing positive also. As we have seen in the last 2 months, the amount of made in the environment. And I find some very important changes. People are now interacting more on the virtual platform rather than in the physical platform. And this has had some advantages, although there will be some difficulties also. So I thought let us understand the advantages, the disadvantages, and the legal issues involved in having a meeting through a virtual medium. Lately, I learned that even Supreme Court has allowed courts to function through a virtual platform. So I think all our members of the IITArb who have joined, I thought this was a webinar, but I find this is actually a meeting when I can see all the faces of the members who have joined. So welcome everybody, and I hope you will find it useful how we can conduct ourselves in our business of arbitration in this virtual medium, and knowing its difficulties as well as advantages. Advantages are very obvious that we will spend less in our traveling, we will spend less money, we will spend less time. So we will have more time at our hands. And so let us see. Mr. Endravajan, please take over. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Coming to the technical part of today's session, we'll have another 30 or 35 minutes discussing about the advantages, the do's and don'ts about this virtual platform. First of all, I'll take the lead from what our president highlighted. He was very happy to say that he could see all the faces, and he also appreciated the way
I am in a meeting. Please don't disturb.
Supreme Court is functioning here. Supreme Court, as well as all the high courts, for the information, have started only the video conferencing facility, and the judges are very keen and comfortable now to facilitate the virtual hearings. It is a rarest situation, at least in my limited experience, or even looking into the records of the judicial history. This is the first time I could see that the judiciary itself couldn't function. Even during the worst situation of the World War, according to the books what I have studied, judiciary was functioning in a physical manner. But now, even the judiciary can't function. Such a situation we are in. And now the way how the judiciary has accepted the virtual hearing, we also have to be prepared for it. Now, all the hearings, particularly when it comes to the technical arbitrators platform, the disputes between contractors and employers, even though we have this arbitration, occasionally parties wants to go to the courts. If the parties wants to go to the courts to just safeguard their bank guarantees, it was a very common platform. You can go to the district court or you can go to the high court and get some interim relief, so that one party would try to stop the employer, the contractor, stopping the employer from invoking the bank guarantee. How it is going to happen now? What is the platform? The only available platform now is if the court finds that it is an urgent matter, they will take it virtually. The judges are sitting at their residence and they are hearing it. But we have to take it in a positive sense. Now the judges are here, available in virtual platform, understand the grievances, wherein now along with the advocates, the parties are also permitted to make their presentation and submission. Very interesting. The agreed party can literally join the virtual hearing with the permission of the courts as well as the advocate who is representing them, and they can also make the presentation, and the witnesses also is being facilitated. Exception is the witness coaching. All others is happening virtually. Now coming to our platform, Indian Institution of Technical Arbitrators have a lot of activities like conducting training, seminars, and additionally some conferences. These are very common activities of IITArb. And virtually some arbitrations also is happening in the headquarters office in Mylapore, Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, wherein people come and utilize the venue for arbitration. All these are now in a standstill. For the past 2.5 months, nothing is happening. We couldn't do. At this juncture, the office bearers of IITArb were very happy to participate in many of the webinars, what's happening, particularly on the COVID-19 and construction activities, starting from the Hong Kong, the Malaysian one. Literally many of the members were participating, and we also, KFCR also facilitated some program wherein we invited IITArb members also to get involved in these webinars. It is very simple. Earlier we had seminars, just take yes and remove the M and put it W and B. W and B are added. It is not actually woman and boy. It is the World Wide Web as well as the interesting point of the probabilities and possibilities. Webinars are alternative to seminars. The same thing can happen. The only thing today, what is happening is very simple. We have a platform wherein meeting is happening, Zoom meeting. My colleagues, Mr. Swethan and Mr. Shahrukh would explain you all the technicalities, advantages and disadvantages. As a initial points, what I wanted to highlight is that it is very clear that there are options, meetings and webinars. Meeting, it's possible when we, like our physical meeting, day-to-day meeting, what we're having, we can also have it in online platform. Webinars are like seminars wherein the lectures would be there and there will be a small portion of Q&A. This is a slight difference, but the platforms are now facilitated only by a prominent app developers outside our country. In India also we have like app like Namaste and a few other apps are there, but still it's not much user friendly. My colleagues would list out various apps, what is so comfortable, the virtual platform, how it works. They'll also share some screen, how we can take advantages of those, the security and the privacy aspects, the encryption aspect, all these cyber related issues also would be highlighted with you. With this few words, I think I will hand it over to my colleagues, Mr. Swethan and Shahrukh. They will take a reasonable time explaining to you all. And if you have any issues, you can, any clarifications you wanted, there is a chat box in the bottom. You can just click that and you can type. I think already many people are comfortable. I think more than 20 messages have already reached the chat box. Anyway, it's interesting. A meeting has chat box, and when it comes to webinar, it is Q&A box. That is the only slight difference we have. Thank you for this opportunity given by IITArb. Now I'll hand it over to Swethan.
So, sorry, I am Shahrukh Kumar. I think Hussain was a bit confused between who's going to start. So, myself and my colleague Swethan will be explaining you about how to carry on with the online platform in conducting meetings as well as online conferencing. So, first of all, a very good afternoon to good evening to all the engineers from the Indian Institution of Technical Arbitrators who have joined us this evening for this webinar on how to conduct meetings in the virtual space. So it is really an overwhelming opportunity for me to speak in front of all the senior engineers and technical arbitrators from the country. So moving on to the topic of online meetings, we generally know that the concept of online conferencing and online meetings has been developing over the past few years. But particularly over the past 3 or 4 months, that is after the COVID-19 outbreak and the implementation of worldwide lockdown, these online meetings have attained a very vital space in our everyday life. Almost all the institutions around the world, all the companies, all the corporates, they have started operating through virtual platforms. So when I say operating, it is not only the works, but they're also able to meet with their colleagues, discuss their works, conduct board meetings, take important decisions through the online platforms. So we do not know when this all will be over and when we will be able to have our physical meetings. So it is better to get adopted to this online era of web conferencing and online meetings. And it is also very much it is very much useful in conducting business in today's life. So the first thing I would like to highlight is to conduct an online meeting or a web conference, what you need. So there are two basic things which a person needs to conduct an online meeting. One is a laptop or a personal computer or a smartphone. So everyone today has a smartphone with us. So a smartphone alone with a high-speed internet is enough to conduct an online meeting. So the second thing I would like to highlight is the one which I already told, that is the internet connection. So you need a high-speed internet in order to be a part of an online meeting. So when I say high-speed internet, it does not mean that you will have to have a separate domain or a separate networking system. A normal Wi-Fi or 4G data connection would be sufficient to conduct a meeting. And with a laptop or a smartphone, you can be a part of this meeting. So apart from this, if it is required, you would be needing other equipments like a microphone or a camera. But when you pose yourselves to the latest technology, that is latest smartphones or laptops, there is no use of any of this additional equipments. A smartphone or a laptop with an internet connection is more than enough to conduct an online meeting or be a part of it. So leaving this, coming on to the technical aspect, currently we have various other platforms which have been facilitating these online meetings, like the Zoom app, which we are currently conducting this meeting. Apart from this, we have various other apps like Google Hangout, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, Click Meetings, and n number of apps. So my colleague Mr. Shwetan will be explaining about the apps which are applications and softwares which are available for this type of web conferencing. So one thing I would like to highlight is, from our personal experience or my personal experience, I found the Zoom app very user friendly and very comfortable to conduct any online meeting. Like I guess all of you would be aware, now everyone has joined this meeting with just a click on your smartphone or your laptop. You did not have to undergo any procedure to enter this meeting. So Zoom provides this opportunity wherein a hyperlink is provided, and on clicking the hyperlink, you will be able to join a meeting. But this option lacks in other applications, which will be further explained by my colleague. So not moving on much into Zoom, I would also like to highlight the difference between a meeting and a webinar. So again, coming to Zoom application provides you the opportunity of conducting your online meetings in the form of meetings or webinar. So what is the difference between a meeting and a webinar? So the meeting which we are having right now, which we are conducting right now, it is a meeting. So in this type of meeting, all the attendees will be able to turn on their cameras as well as their microphones. However, the control of the meeting lies only with the host. The host can enable the microphone or unmute the microphone of any of the speakers, and the host can also mute it, as well as the host has certain privileges like turning off the camera or turning off the chat option and many other things. So what kind of meetings will this type of meeting be suitable? So when you're conducting your any online hearings, or when you're going to have an online meeting with your colleagues where each and everyone has to express their views and you have to take a particular decision, or you're going to conduct a particular board meeting or an executive meeting, or or any informal meeting, this meeting, the meeting option can be very suitable. Apart from this, if you're going to conduct any training session which is to be interactive, meetings can be facilitated. And moving on to webinars, in a webinar, it facilitates very much, very less amount of interaction. Only the panelists will be able to turn on their cameras. The attendees will not be able to turn on their cameras. The attendees cannot unmute their microphones. They can only listen to what the panelists are speaking. So in a webinar type, there will be 4 or 5 panelists who will be visible on your screen, and you will be able to only listen to the lectures of the panelists. This webinar does not facilitate interaction. So when I say it does not facilitate interaction, there is not going to be much of video or audio interaction. However, you can interact through the chat box as well as the Q&A box. So speaking about the chat box and Q&A box, this chat box is available in both meetings and webinars. So when you send a message in the chat box, it is displayed in the screens of all the attendees who have joined the meeting. When you go on to a webinar and you have a particular question to be posted to the speaker or the panelist, you can post it in the Q&A box. So this any question posted in the Q&A box will be appearing only for the panelist, and other attendees cannot access it. So the panelists, upon seeing your question, if they are willing to answer your question, they can choose it from the Q&A box and answer it. So apart from this, another major difference between the meeting and the webinar type is that for a webinar, you need to register yourself before joining a webinar. So one more additional information I would like to give is tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Indian Institute of Technical Arbitrators in association with KFCRI is organizing a webinar. So today's meeting is a meeting type and tomorrow's is a webinar type. So tomorrow, all the attendees wouldn't be able to turn on their cameras, or you wouldn't be able to speak out yourselves. And you are required to register for tomorrow's webinar. But for today's meeting, you are not required to register yourself. You are just given a link through WhatsApp or through your mail, and on clicking the link, you are directly join the meeting. Whereas in a webinar, when you click the registration link, you will be redirected to a page of Zoom application, wherein you will have to register yourself with your email ID, your mobile number, your name, and the further details which the host requires. And then you will be sent a registration link through mail. So all these the link mail containing the registration link, or the mail which reminds you to attend the meeting, this is all auto-generated mail sent by Zoom application. So coming to the cost aspect also, when you conduct your meetings through Zoom, you will be given 40 minutes of free meeting. So when you start your meeting, for the first 40 minutes, every meeting is a free meeting. However, depending on the type of package which you choose, or the type of meeting and the number of participants, you can purchase the Zoom app. The cost aspect will also be explained by my colleague Mr. Swethan, and other technical aspects will also be explained. So you can purchase it, and there are also other free apps, applications and softwares available on the internet to conduct your online meetings and conferences. So one important thing I would like to highlight is, before conducting an online meeting, everyone has to try to figure out what type of meeting and how the meeting has to be conducted. Like for example, if it is going to be an online hearing, you can conduct it through a meeting mode, because in a hearing, it is mandatory that the tribunal and all the parties should be able to have a visionary look of others. So that cannot be facilitated in a webinar. And also in meeting, you have the option of locking the meeting through passwords. So this particular meeting which we are having now is not a locked meeting. You are not required to type any password before entering this meeting. However, while scheduling the meeting itself, if the host requires a password, only the people who are authorized with the password and to whom the password is shared will be able to join the meeting. This is another positive aspect in meetings, because when you're conducting your hearings, you would not want any third-party intervention into the meeting. In such a case, meetings can be facilitated. So with that, I think I have explained the basic of an online meeting. And apart from that, I would also like to give you two basic suggestions from my experience in online meetings. So for the past 2 or 3 months, I have been associated in in moderating a few webinars, hosting a few meetings, and I was also involved in a few training sessions. So from the feedback I got before conducting an online meeting, you must consider two important things. So this is not something technical. This might sound a bit basic, but it is very important when it comes to an online meeting. So one thing is your lighting, and the second thing is your background. So why I say this is, always when you are speaking through an online meeting from the vicinity of your home or your office, have the lighting opposite to you or adjacent to you. Do not sit under the light or do not have the light above your head. Why I say this is, when the light focuses on your camera, your face will not be visible and the screen will be blurred. And coming to the background, you need not have any colorful background or you need not have an official background. It is enough if you have a plain wall as your background. So why I say this is, when we have something moving in our background or some design in our background, it is obviously going to distract the participants, and the information which is to be conveyed will not be properly conveyed. So I say this from the feedback I got during my initial webinars. And a plain, also another positive thing is, when we are having an online meeting from our homes, we'll have people walking around, people carrying on their own works, and so many other disturbances will be there. So when we choose to have a plain background, we can avoid distractions as well as unwanted attractions of the attendees. So with that, I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Shwetan, to explain the technical aspects of conducting an online.
Thank you, Mr. Shahrukh. Yes. So if everyone can see me, so I'll be diving right into the technical aspects and even a bit of the legal aspects of connecting this webinar or a meeting online. I'll just post the list of apps which you can use in the chat box. So these are the, if you can see the chat box, these are the most famous or usable apps which we found online. So most of these we have tried using, and each of it has its own advantages. So I can share you in 1 minute. So this is the Namaste app, which is supposedly from India. So we've tried using this, but the options or the ranges are quite few, because you can see it's a beta version which has been released. So I hope as part of the Make in India initiative, they expand their horizons and have a more effective platform. So the next one is Click Meetings. So this is actually a very usable platform, because they give the first month for free. So you don't require any payment mechanism for the first 1 month, but after which you have to pay a certain amount, which is very nominal. And this is Click Meetings can be used for lots of online regular class training. So if you have a class throughout a week, so the Click Meeting software is the one to go. Cisco WebEx. So Cisco WebEx is actually has a special facility where you can have personal meetings with people on the call itself. So I have heard of mediators in Singapore and quite other places in the world using Cisco WebEx for online mediations. So why online mediations is because the mediator would want individual caucuses or individual separate meetings with one of the parties while they're online. So Cisco can enable one party to be online but still not in the meeting, and have a personal meeting between the other two. So this, again, in the same price range, can be used for online mediations. So this is Microsoft Teams. So this I suggest for anyone who is working in an office setup. So Microsoft Teams, as the name suggests, is for an entire team who is working on a regular basis. So here you can not only just have a video call, but you can actually have lots of transactions between the members. That is, you can send documents, you can all view documents together, and you can review or edit documents online if it's uploaded in the software. So this is highly recommended for office or group working or a team situation. So the last two are Google Meet and Zoom. So first, Google Meet is quite a quaint software. It is actually for free for quite an amount of time. So you can get up around 200 to 300 participants without paying any extra fees with proper software. So if you're making a personal meeting and you want to share your knowledge with quite a few number of people and you want to invite everyone to listen to your own words and you want to set up a personal meeting, Google Meet is to go. So, but if you want to up your tea and you want to be more professional, you want to have a portrayal of professionalism towards the audience, then Zoom is the choice for you. And the price ranges from 1,500. So for 1 month of your subscriber towards Zoom is 1,500, for which you can conduct unlimited hours of meetings meetings with 100 people inside. So right now KFCRI has its subscription to Zoom. So we have our subscription package with meetings, so through which we are having this meeting today. The other subscription which KFCRI also has is webinars. So you could see the meeting scheduled for tomorrow. So tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. we have the webinar on the topic COVID-19 and lockdown, force majeure and frustration issues pertaining to construction contracts. So this is conducted again by IITArb in association with KFCRI. The lead panelist for this webinar would be Anirudh Krishnan. So if you'd want to join for this, you would have received a registration link, and how my colleague Mr. Shahrukh had facilitated, you should register to that particular webinar and you will join as an attendee, and your video or audio will not be seen, but you can still see your questions and you can ask your questions in the Q&A box. So so many people complain actually on the online meetings and how it might not be appropriate enough, and I can actually see quite a lot of questions regarding to the legality and the issues involved in an online platform, for which I am going to paste another set of documents. One moment. Yes. So these are around 19 sets of documents which I have collected through a list of webinars and list of seminars. So these are actually documents prepared by orbital institutions after doing intense research. So not just orbital institutions, think tanks like UNCITRAL and the APEC group. So all of these orbital institutions and these centers have devised a particular set of rules and protocols so that the way we conduct the orbitals hearings through an online medium will be proper. So you can find different protocols and guidelines on how you can conduct your arbitration hearing effectively here. So it deals with almost everything regarding confidentiality, regarding cross-examinations, regarding witness training, and even regarding bandwidth issues and power cuts and everything. And of course, thank you. We would be sharing the set of documents with all of you via email soon, so you can review it there as well. So if you could go through these documents each by each, so you will find out there is quite a lot of literature dealing with every issue which you can face here. So sadly, due to the brevity of time here, I will not be able to deal with all the questions here, but there are certain, I would like to answer a few alone. So there are few techniques or few methods you could follow to ensure confidentiality and privacy here. One of such mentions is like what my colleague Mr. Shahrukh Kumar told. So the meetings can be locked, especially in the Zoom platform. You need not allow anyone who enters. So even right now, as and when I am speaking, anyone who enters has to get permission from me while I click the button admit to enter into this meeting. So I need not allow everyone. So I actually had permitted each and one of you while you enter the meeting, until which you are in the waiting room. So the privacy or the confidentiality of the particular meeting stays with the host. So I had to decide who to let in and who not to let in. And for the purpose of educating the other members of IITR, we are recording this as well. So, but that also can be seen by you. If you could look at the top left corner, there will be the recording button. So even if any one of the participants has the permission to record or can record, every other participant will be notified that that particular person is recording. Moreover, the video conference facilities are majorly flawless. And during the usage of such facilities, we get to interact with quite a lot of people from all around the world. So in our so our experiences are fixed with within the last 3 months. And within the last 3 months, our institution conducted around 10 webinars, and all of these 10 webinars were had speakers from 10 different countries. So, and participants varied from the entire world. So we had an opportunity to interact with the entire world in the last 3 months by just sitting in the same position and in our same city. And right now we have an opportunity to interact with the entire engineers in India. So this, of course, has its benefits and advantages, which we really wanted you to know. And this actually should not stop till the COVID, after the COVID ends. So we always request you to continue using online platforms such as Zoom and Google Meets after the end of the pandemic as well. So this should not stop as soon as the lockdown ends. We request these types of meetings can bring people closer than ever before. So it is my humble request put forth to you. I hope I've cleared or clarified certain questions which I could do so. Thank you. I would like to now unmute Mr. Inbo Vijayan and Colonel Nalathambi Punasam. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Shahrukh and Svetan, to give a brief introduction. At least in your humble words, it was brief, but it was quite in detail. Most particularly when it comes to the apps and what are the apps generally available. But anyway, these apps, there are some issues pertaining to the privacy issue. I think many would accept that even now we have an issue on the very interesting document, the very, what you can say, our Bible or Gita, that is the Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card privacy issue is still going on. Likewise, any technology or any technical development would have some negative or a challenge to it. We had to accept it. But interestingly, when we are effectively using all these platforms or apps have its advantages when it is a paid service. That we have to be very clear. Initially, whatever these apps are giving, whether it is going to be Namaste or Google Meets or Zoom or WebEx, because I do a lot of conciliation meetings for the capital markets. The conciliation cases of the capital markets, as the stock exchanges, are now happening in Cisco WebEx. When we are doing that, there is an end-to-end encryption so that there is a safeguard. A password is given, a meeting ID is given. A lot of technical license has to be obtained by us to log in. Likewise, when we do the paid service, anything which is for free has its own ill effect. If we are going for a paid service, we have all the excellent services which are safe, secure, and it also maintains the confidentiality. It is when we compare a arbitration hearing, what we physically do and what we do the virtually, the only difficulty what we face is that when we are dealing with volumes of documents and dealing with witnesses. When I'm an arbitrator, Shahrukh is one counsel, Svetan is one counsel, and witness is going to be Mr. Nalathambi. The witnesses would be in a different place. And there is high possibility of a person who's not visible in the screen sitting side and coaching that witness, giving some notes. All things might happen. This we can't just avoid. When it comes to witnesses alone, I personally feel that this virtual hearing has a disadvantage. Other than this, an arbitration hearing conducted in virtual, reasonably it is confidential, subject to parties' agreement. When they are going for virtual hearing, an arbitrator is going to get a confidentiality agreement to be signed by all the parties. Technically, you can say it's a disclaimer. It also preserves from all these anomalies like power cuts. In India, we have, but very interestingly, I have to share this. When we are doing as an institution, KFCRI, we are the best service provider in India, the connectivity what we had was really wonderful. I think many of your friends, IITArb members also participated in those webinars. A speaker from Ireland, his video quality was not to the standard of Indian video quality. His audio was good, but video was not good. India is much better when it comes to the virtual platform. The connectivity, I think no issue is going to happen. The only thing is that we had to go for an unlimited usage capacity, or the corporate capacity we had to take it. Otherwise, it's working very well. Some people are even doing with the 4G connection. 4G connection also, all these apps are working very well. Even Google Meet was working very well. I had an occasion to deliver a lecture for the Academy of Arbitration Avenues. Yesterday, I had for the ambassadors of mediation. There are quite number of participation. Whether it is the app doesn't matter. Please understand, each and every app, the service providers might have some issues. That doesn't matter. For us, we have to take the positive sign of these apps or the platforms wherein we have to deliver our goods. It's very simple. We are a service provider. As an arbitrator, we are delivering the process and we are going to give the award. As a participant in a webinar, we are going to get that knowledge what we are going to have when we are going for a seminar. Similarly, as IITArb is going to do, I think IITArb has a long list of webinars they are planning to do, and we are fortunate to help them out as a technical partner cooperating all these platforms. We are going to do a lot of programs from now onwards under the guidance of our President, Mr. Agrawal. And this, you have to take it as an advantage. When we started, a good example, when we started the smartphone, what was the first say? No, our ears, there will be issue with our ears. Then there was an issue that there will be a brain fever would come. A lot of issues happen. Eyesights would get spoiled. Every technology has its ill effect. Just keep apart that 20% might be there, 80% positive is there. Take it. Do for arbitration, do for seminars, now it's webinars, do it for discussions, do it for internal discussions for arbitration, as well as do it for conferences. The conferences is the maximum where this virtual platform is so effectively placed. And I think many people would accept this virtual space is going to be taken by the G7 countries, G20 countries, as well as the United Nations General Assembly meeting is going to happen through these platforms. So much of significance has come to the virtual platform. Those organizations, the intergovernmental organizations are doing it. Why can't we do it? We have to do it. We have now, this is the best option. And even future, as my colleagues are saying, when it comes to do's and don'ts, as a do, you do now also, and after the COVID-19 lockdown is released or even the pandemic goes off, you have to do it. And when we do this, in arbitration, we are going to save a lot of cost. Please imagine the cost involved or the major component of the negative component of an arbitration. What we people say, arbitration is expensive. Why it is expensive? If you are having 3 arbitrators, at least in the context of Indian Institute of Technical Arbitrators, most of the cases we have 3 arbitrators. If you are going to have 3 arbitrators, bringing in all the 3 arbitrators for a particular time to a particular place in a particular session, it is really, really a Herculean task. To avoid this, if you are sitting in our own places, remotely, whether at office or residence or any platform, if you can just sit, use a mobile when you're traveling also. We had an experience in one of the webinar and a meeting. There was a person who was literally sitting in the car. He was enjoying it and he was also putting questions and he was sharing a picture. He took a selfie that I am sitting in the car and he shared. So much of convenience is there. When in a 3-member arbitral tribunal, at least as an IITArb perspective, 3-member tribunal, if you can comfortably sit in your own place and the parties, predominantly the respondents in most of the construction arbitration, the public sector undertaking officials, the state entities, they are there. They need not come out of their office. They can sit in their office, participate in the arbitration hearing, and ultimately they can save time, money, as well as they can just manage their work. They are not on duty coming out. One day is not spoiled for them. They can just manage their office work. They can just effectively participate, and they can ultimately save time. And very importantly, now the Arbitration Act has given a time. As an IITArb, an institution is also going to accept what the 2015 amendment of the Act, that is 12 plus 6, 18 months is given maximum for an arbiter tribunal to give an award. And the 2019 also has given some clarification on the time, how it has been for pleadings and for the arbitrators, 6 plus 12 months. Likewise, the law is now very, very particular about the time. When time is going to be so serious, when we are using these platforms, you can effectively deliver the award within a reasonable time. Exception for this pandemic period, Supreme Court has given a leverage from 15/3/2020 till the release of lockdown, and beyond that 15 days is exempted from limitation. That is the only leverage Supreme Court has given. But prudently, post this pandemic situation or the lockdown, you have a wonderful opportunity. For that, you make this as a trial plot. We need to have a rehearsal. The rehearsal is being provided by IITArb. I'm very happy that IITArb is taking this initiative. And particularly, our president wants to have this as a first session so that our members, even though I'm not an engineer, I always keep saying that I am also a member. Hopefully in future, I might be a member. I won't do a law, the engineering subject. I might be a member in some capacity. But our members should get this benefit. Take it as a positive sign. You have to take this how you took. Earlier, you took the smartphone, then you took the iPads. Now you have gone to the pros. iPad pros are there. It is all mobile, PC, as well as laptop. And all these modes of telecommunication, we have to take it and we have to execute our work. Ultimately, we have to serve the society. As an engineer for the long period, whether working in a department or the state or you're doing a consultancy work, you served a lot. Now, at this point of time, associating with IITR, you have to serve the society, doing the justice for the arbitration, do the justice for the future engineers. You have to be a true example for future young engineers. Personally, I have a, what you can say, it's biased or a vested interest. My son also has just joined engineering. He is in the civil engineering first year. He also have to get the benefit out of the senior members of IITArb, how we are going to take this, particularly the virtual platform, because future is going to be virtual. Once the 5G connection is going to come, everything is going to be virtual. We have to literally sit at home, enjoy, get the remuneration, spend with our family, enjoy the food which is being served hot. That is very interesting. Earlier, we used to carry the food. Now, we are enjoying the food in hot and fresh manner. With these few words, I thank IITArb giving this opportunity. And this is just a beginning. And I'll hand it over to my colleague, Mr. Colonel Nalathambi, to share his views and vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I, Dr. Colonel Nalathambi, Joint Secretary General of IITArb and coordinator of this webinar, I take this opportunity to thank for organizing this wonderful program today, dealing with meeting in the virtual space. Firstly, I thank our President, Engineer K.N. Agarwal, and his team, Engineers Sivaprakasam, Engineer Sivaraman, and Engineer Seshadri, for initiating the move to have IITArb webinar lectures in association with KFCRI and his team. I thank Advocate Inba KFCRI, for organizing this startup webinar. With his tremendous experience on arbitration and ADR, he has shown willingness and helping tendency to hold his seminar in a great extent. I thank KFCRI team members Shauruk Kumar and Svetan for organizing this wonderful webinar association with IITR to make it very successful. In the end, I thank all our IITR members for sparing the time and attending this meeting and make it successful. We will meet again tomorrow at 16:30 hours. I thank everyone for attending and make it successful. Thank you so much, sir.
Mr. Nalathambi, I have to have a few words before
Sir.
you close. So please put me on the screen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
See, I'm really happy that this talk and this meeting has taken place today about the use of this virtual medium.
Sir.
And I'm particularly thankful to Mr. Enva Vijayan and his team, that is Mr. Swethan and Mr. Sharu. Although it's only a beginning, but a lot of things have been thrown up and the people will understand all the issues involved. One question I have, Mr. Enva Vijayan can answer. If there is any question about the legality of holding any such meetings by, because Arbitration Act does not say any such thing. Whether there can be any questions raised, suppose, in fact, I'm in the process of holding such meetings on virtual platform in one case, and we are very comfortable actually having our internal meetings on this medium. A doubt has come whether anybody can question the legality of such a meeting.
Yeah.
I liked about your saying that we have to really do this as a service to the profession and service to the nation. I am very thankful for your views on this. Thank you very much, Mr. Vijayan. And thanks to my team who has organized this. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Before closing this meeting, I like to answer to what the our president has in mind when it comes to legality of this proceeding. One thing we have to be very clear: the arbitration law is silent when it comes to hearings. They are just suggested to have only oral hearings, an option, or documents only. Now we are making a hybrid aspect of conducting the hearing. The only thing to avoid any legal challenge or to look into the legal validation of such a hearing, we as arbitrators have to get a written consent and consent from both the parties. And if the parties give a consent, then the arbitration law, particularly section 24, gives an option that unless and otherwise agreed by the parties, we have to take that as an advantage. That's how many former judges have started doing this arbitration, and the courts also have accepted this. Except the new cases, the continuing cases we can have through the online virtual platform. And very interestingly, this has been legalized, not officially, but with the mutual consent of arbitration. The parties have to give the mutual consent.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
again, sir.
Thank you, sir. We are closing the meeting now.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. I'm very happy that, and tomorrow we'll see you again.
Thank you, sir.